Hi Leo, welcome to your week ahead horoscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Leo, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you've got the Chariot card. And if I'm completely honest with you, I don't necessarily feel that this is actually about a victory or a success this week. I actually feel like this is about you really putting putting the pedal to the metal, as they say, right? So this is really about you taking it up a gear. And it's funny because Taurus had a very similar message, but theirs was about shifting gears, whereas yours is about, like, this is it, right? This is where you get to put your foot to your pedal to the metal, as they say. This is where you really get to speed up. Now, it is said with the Chariot card, because it's direct opposite in the Major Arcana is the Tower card, so you don't want to go too fast, right? But this is a time where, now that Venus is direct, as we come into the 3rd or the 4th, depending on where you are, etc., of February, Mercury is going to be direct as well. So that whole, it's kind of like in my body, I feel it like from my gut upwards, and it's like this. Do you know what I mean? It's just going to be this like surge of energy, and like I can feel it now as well. This very much feels like that. And what I will say to you is the Chariot card tends to have a fast, dynamic, powerful energy about it. And this week, I think a lot of us are going to feel like we've got our mojo back anyway. But this week, I definitely feel like this is a time where you'll feel that things are starting to move that a little bit faster, that a little bit more powerful. It's kind of like, when you've just put, I'm giving lots of car metaphors this week. I don't know why. It just seems to be. But when you put petrol in the car and then it starts to, right? So for your actions and options, this just wanted to say, if you are a continued subby, Rafi loves you. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose, and this resonates, hit the subscribe button. For your actions and options, you have the Knight of Wands. So look at that, right? That's a lot of fast, powerful, dynamic energy. The Knight of Wands as well, for me, has a very passionate energy about it. And this does actually suggest that this could be a week where you are it's not even about having your mojo or getting your mojo back. It really is about just using the power that you have, tapping into your passion, tapping into your creativity. The thing with that Knight of Wands as an action card as well, this is about you taking a path, right? So, sometimes we have that whole analysis paralysis thing. Well, this week you don't have any of that, right? You're very sure, you're very confident, you're very aware of where you're going. And this swell or this tide of energy is really going to start to pick up this week. I will say as well, this is probably a week where you're going to start thinking about connecting to your tribe more than ever. Who are they? What role do they fulfill? How do you fit together? What do they bring to the table that you can't, and vice versa? I think you're going to be really, really hot on this stuff this week. So I apologize to anybody out there that's not a Leo, sun, moon or ascendant, because I kind of feel like this is going to be a week where you do draw, I don't want to say not draw battle lines, but it does feel like a week where you are going to draw some very clear lines of division, right? Who's made the cut and who hasn't, quite frankly. And when it comes to your communications and conversations, you got the Two of Pentacles. Nice. All right. So this week you are having to weigh up the options, but you're also having to, the thing is, I don't feel like this is you sort of like, you are having to weigh up the options. You're having to really look at the information that's available to you. But there's this sense, because this is with the Two of Pentacles, there's this sense that it's like, I'm not doing this by committee. This is what's going to happen. you're either on board or you're not. It's great if you are, and if you're not, then you know what, I'll find somebody else who is. I feel like there's some very clear lines being drawn this week, and it's kind of like you personally, as a Leo sun, moon or ascendant, you're weighing this up very, very, like, even if nobody sees this on the outside, you are very much looking at everything, and like the mind is doing 10 to the dozen this week, right? The mind is very sharp, it's very powerful, and it kind of feels like a lot of you are, it's like, just clocking it, just clocking it, just clocking it. That's all I need to do, because when I move, everybody's going to know, because you'll feel the ground fucking rumble. Excuse my language. When it comes to those of you that are employed by somebody else, this is you really asking the question, and I think this might be a question for some of you that you can ask the boss or the establishment that you work with. This could be a week where you're saying, right, these are the things that I want, these are the things that I need to make, are the changes that I would like to make. How able are you to honor these, right? So for some of you, I kind of feel like this is you giving the boss or the workplace an ultimatum of some kind, and on the back end of that, it's you trying to figure out, okay, how much do I need this salary, right? And it's not about, like, you know, we've seen the memes. It's like when you're sitting on the end of your bed asking yourself, you know, do I really need the salary, etc. I don't think this is coming from a place of like, oh, you know, if I don't do this. It's coming from a place of, if I don't do this, I have other options. I just need to see how viable those are at this moment in time. The only thing that I will say to you, now that Chariot card's warning starts to edge in a little bit, where it's like, you know, too quick, too much pride before a fall, etc. You know, we do carry that Leonine energy, so we've got to watch out for that always. But just something to consider for those of you that are business owners, people that work for themselves, etc. Really nice. I think in a lot of ways, this is you stretching your budget this week, right? So maybe you are taking on a member of staff, maybe you're finally outsourcing something, maybe this is a week where, and it does feel like that, where maybe you said to yourself, oh, you know, I can't really afford that yet, I got this to do, I got that to do, and it's like, oh, and it's that uncomfortable moment where it's like, okay, well, you're either going to need to invest to grow, or you're going to stay where you are and you're going to end up keep dropping the ball. Which is it, right? It's like you bitch, pick a struggle, because you cannot have them all, okay? All jokes aside, I'm going to watch this back and cringe. I very rarely watch my videos back, but I'm going to have to watch this one. For your those of you that are retired and no longer working, this is considerations about the money, the finances and the resources in the long term. This is you starting to really get clear on what the budget is, you know, what is the possibility here, and more importantly, how far is what I have now gonna go. For your love and relations, you've got the Three of Swords. For a select few of you, this does look like you will be parting ways with somebody. Now, this doesn't have to be, it's not a death, you'll be glad to know. I get so many messages like, why do you predict death? You shouldn't do that with tarot. It's not a death. This could be the end of a friendship. It could be parting ways with a familial tie of some sort. It's the Three of Swords. So whatever their separation is, it is one that you're going to feel. It is one that you know, that may affect you in a certain way. Now, the thing that really comes to mind here, though, because it is the Three of Swords, and you've got the Two of Pentacles, you've got the Knight of Wands. This could be, we're not good for each other right now, and so I feel like we need to take a break. All right, so for some of you, this could be putting a relationship on hold. For some of you, this could be clearing out the stuff around relationships that you know gets in the way of the one that you have right now. This could be a very powerful and very cathartic moment for a current relationship to really flourish, providing you're willing to do that work. And that Two of Pentacles in your communications really starts to make sense now, even with the relationships, right? So there's a lot of work to be done here, and the fact that you've got the Sun and Saturn, both in the sign of Aquarius in your 7th house at the moment, to, you know, for those of you that are ascendant Leos, to a lesser degree the sun and the moon, but still relevant because it is the sun and Saturn that we're talking about. These are heavyweights, these are heavy hitters, you know, these are the big boys of the zodiac, the ones that, not that they matter any more or less than other planets, well, the sun does, you know, let's just call a spade a spade. But yeah, very, very interesting that you've got so much 7th house stuff happening at the moment. And, you know, then there's that. And also this week you'll have that powerful new moon in the sign of Aquarius, which is also in your 7th house. When it comes to your money and materials, oh yeah, we've got the 10 of Pentacles, beautiful, right underneath the 2. Now, there's a little secret with the 2 and the 10 of any suit. The 2 has the potential to reach the 10, right? It wants to become the 10. That's always the way of it. The 2 of Cups and the 10 of Cups is always the same, and the 2 of Pentacles and the 10 of Pentacles is also the same. One of the ways that this tends to happen, though, is it's kind of a glimpse, right? So your money, your finances this week could be good, but it's likely to come through your partnerships, through your resources. And when I say resources, I'm not talking about money, I'm talking about people, the connections that you have, the help that is available to you, that you use or don't use, as the case may be. So all something to consider. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, you've got to look after your digestive system this week, all right? And then for your home and environment, 10 of Pentacles is beautiful for home because it literally represents the home, the environment. For some of you, it may very well be that there are considerations about where it is that you live. This stuff is going to keep coming up for a lot of you just because of where the planets are and what's going on at the moment, and the fact that we have the North and South Node now fully into the energies of Scorpio and Taurus, which is for your ascendant especially, but to a lesser degree the sun and the moon, your 4th and 10th house axis, which is all to do with your home, family, living situation, your roots, all of who you are at the depths, and your career, who you are out there, and all of who you are to the world. So your new moon message, new moon in the 7th house for those of you that are ascendant Leos, to a lesser degree the sun and the moon. New moon in the 7th house is all to do with partnerships, relationships, contracts, marriage partners, anything that you are committed to on a sort of contractual basis, really. And after all, what is marriage at its basal level, right? Yes, there's love and all the rest of it that's tied to it, but it is a contract. When it comes to the 7th house, this is also the house of your open enemies, which I have come to understand means your competitors, people that compete against you in the same or the similar field. And for your new moon message, you've got the Gate 22 and Grace, right? So the message behind this card, is that you should do what you love just because you love it, right? Create from a space of loving what you do, the rest will come. All right, when you love what you do, the world will follow. And then finally, the message on this card with the swan is literally, this is about finding, I believe that from here on in, for those of you that are interested, this new moon is likely to set some, it's like the bad luck spell of the love life of the Leo is now broken with this new moon. So be on the alert, because between now and I would say the end of April, it's likely that somebody's going to come in that may just turn your world upside down. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.